Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Saturday, July 6th, 2019. The reason why I'm sitting here on a Saturday morning doing a podcast, well, right around 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time, Kawhi Leonard's decision got leaked out. He has chosen to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers 4 years, $142 million max contract. But wait. That wasn't it. 2 minutes after Woj reported that Kawhi was going there, and actually Chris Haynes was the first to have that story, Woj reported that the Los Angeles Clippers went out and acquired Paul George from the Oklahoma City Thunder for a whopping 6 first-round picks. 2 of them were pick swaps, 3 of them unprotected from the Clippers and 1 unprotected one from the Heat in that trade that they got for Tobias Harris. Also in that deal was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari. No way did anybody know that Paul George was available via trade. That was my knee-jerk reaction. And then the report came out that Kawhi Leonard wasn't signing with the Clippers or anywhere really that was in play if they didn't trade for Paul George. So it was down to the Raptors versus the Clippers for Paul George. Raptors denied a Paul George and Westbrook for Pascal Siakam trade, but my knee-jerk reaction to that is that they wanted no part of Russell Westbrook, and that says a lot about Russell Westbrook than it does about Paul George. So just because the Raptors passed on Paul George, I wouldn't kill them for it, because Russell Westbrook, nobody really wants him. Masai Ujiri knows better. Russell Westbrook's a guy that, he is who he is. He's a triple-double machine that cannot be the best player on a championship team. So they took a hard pass on that deal, even though George was involved. But everyone's saying that Siakam held up the deal. But I'm sorry. I don't want to kill the Raptors. The Clippers just flat out had the better offer with all those picks. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I know Gallinari is just a bad contract that was thrown in that deal. He's going to get traded elsewhere for sure. But the bottom line is that the Clippers just had the better offer. I know the narrative is going to be that they didn't want Westbrook, which I agree with. I don't think Masai Ujiri wanted Westbrook. So I think that the Clippers had by far the better offer with all those picks. And the Thunder wanted Pascal Siakam, but the Raptors didn't want to give him up. And I don't think they wanted Westbrook either. So they decided to go with that overpayment Clippers deal instead. So what a big win for the Clippers. This is the biggest W in franchise history, no doubt about it. Biggest day in franchise history. They acquired Paul George, signed Kawhi Leonard, and now they're the favorites not only to win the Western Conference, but to win the 2020 NBA championship. I think they're favored to win the next 2 championships. I'd rather have that duo than the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant duo. And I'd rather have them than the LeBron James, Anthony Davis duo. Because LeBron's aging, Anthony Davis has been injury prone throughout his career. Kevin Durant, we don't know if he's going to be the same guy post-injury. I think he will be, because it's Kevin Durant. I think he's one of the best players to ever play this game. I'm optimistic about Kevin Durant. And Kyrie Irving, he's just a drama king. But I like the idea of him and Durant together. And this is a big step back for the Raptors, too. I mean, Siakam now is their best player. Now they can't defend their title. I feel bad. They're a bottom 4 team in the East now. A bottom 4 playoff team, I mean. They're going to be between 5 and 8. Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Philly are all better teams than the Raptors right now. And Indiana, so I put the Raptors at the 6th seed right now in the Eastern Conference. But Nick Nurse has shown that he could be a great NBA coach by winning that championship, although Kawhi was a big part of it. But, yeah. So the Clippers, like I said, are big winners here. Everybody is going to kill the Lakers for not closing the deal on this Kawhi thing. I'm not going to kill the Lakers. They weren't even the favorites to get Kawhi anyway. The Clippers were. I think it would have been a huge L if the Clippers didn't get him. And the Raptors really weren't in the conversation to re-sign Kawhi until they made the conference finals. So they made that big shot to send them to the conference finals. So that's what made the Raptors getting played. If LA Clippers done deal like the whole year, just like Durant to the Knicks, a lot of people thought was a done deal. But the Clippers, unlike the Knicks, sealed the deal. But I think Durant's injury did change everything in terms of their pursuit of Kevin Durant. And I think that if he wasn't injured, then he'd be wearing orange and blue, and so would Kyrie Irving, and honestly, so would Anthony Davis. So the Lakers, the Kevin Durant injury, one of the big winners of that were the Lakers, to be honest, because they don't get Anthony Davis if Kevin Durant's hurt. That's just my theory. I think Anthony Davis is in orange and blue rather than purple and gold if Kevin Durant doesn't get hurt, because they had the best asset on the floor on RJ Barrett, and that's who the Pelicans wanted. So I think that they would have packaged him, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, and one of those Dallas picks they got for the Kristaps Porzingis trade to get AD. But the landscape of the league has certainly changed in less than a week. I know the other day I did an exercise on the podcast, playoff locks and lottery locks. I'm going to reevaluate now that this trade happened. We're going to start in the West. The Clippers are certainly a playoff lock. And honestly, I still think the Lakers are a playoff lock because they have Anthony Davis and they have LeBron James. So, and they're got Danny Green. I think he'll be a good player for them. I called that signing. They brought back Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but he'll be a bench guy for them. You knew that there's a chance he'd be going back to the Lakers because he's a Rich Paul guy, and Rich Paul runs the Lakers. So he's back there. JaVale McGee re-signed. They brought in Quinn Cook to be their point guard. That's okay. I like Quinn Cook. He showed a lot of promise when Stephen Curry was out of the Warriors lineup and even off the bench in some playoff games too. So not a bad signing there. So Clippers, Lakers, I'm saying in no order. The Blazers, the Jazz, the Thunder, or I'm sorry, not the Thunder. Thunder might be a lottery lock now. Who knows? What was I saying? The Nuggets. So that's 5 right there. I still think Oklahoma City's in the mix for one of those last playoff spots. I don't really think that they're a lottery lock, but they're a Russell Westbrook trade away from being a lottery lock. But Russell Westbrook, as far as I'm concerned, is still on the Oklahoma City Thunder, so they're not a lottery lock yet. If they trade him, they're a lottery lock. For sure. And I think that he and Steven Adams are now available via trade. So to refresh, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Nuggets, Jazz, Blazers. So that's 6 spots that I think are locks. There's people that think that Golden State won't even make the playoffs. I couldn't disagree more. They have D'Angelo Russell in the Klay Thompson spot until Klay Thompson comes back. I think D'Angelo Russell will probably be flipped at the deadline before Klay comes back. And then you still got Draymond Green. DeMarcus Cousins is still a free agent. I think Golden State might, or I thought they'd bring him back, but instead they brought back Kevon Looney. I know they got rid of Andre Iguodala, but they really are still a good team because Stephen Curry's just a special player. As far as I'm concerned, if he's on your team, then you have a chance to win every night. That guy is just beyond special. And then Draymond Green, without Kevin Durant in the lineup, and even with him before the injury in the playoffs, really started to look like the Draymond Green from 3-4 years ago. So I still think Golden State's a good team in the West. So the rest of the playoff spots are down. Oh, and then the Houston Rockets. I forgot about them. I don't think they're really a lock anymore with this Kawhi, Paul George to the Clippers thing. I really don't think the Rockets are that big of a lock now. I put them in the probable group. And they're just one of them. And then I'd say other contenders are the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Mavericks. I think that the lottery locks are the Grizzlies, the Timberwolves, and the Suns. I think Sacramento is going to be in the mix with that backcourt maturing more and the re-signing of Harrison Barnes, who they like. Although I'm not a Harrison Barnes fan, but I know they wanted to bring him back. Another guy the Warriors brought in, by the way, that I think will help them is Willie Cauley-Stein. So their bench is a little bit better than it was. So there's that. So I think there are, I think the Rockets are a lock. So I think there's 7 locks, and then that 8 spot's going to be down to Sacramento, the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Mavs. So that's 5 teams. And then I had 7 locks and then 3 lottery locks. So those are the 5 teams I think will be in play for the 18. If I had to pick right now, New Orleans. Because I think that OKC blows it up. Westbrook's gone at some point, whether it's now or in the season. So I think that they'll eventually be a lottery lock, but they're not there yet. I think they're a Russell Westbrook trade away from being that. So you cannot count them out for the 8 seed as long as Westbrook's on the team. If they get rid of Westbrook, then they're a lottery lock with the Timberwolves, the Suns, and the Grizzlies. East. Let's reevaluate the East now that Kawhi Leonard has decided to leave. I think that the locks are the Pacers, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Nets, and the Bucks and the Raptors still, even though they don't have Kawhi anymore. So I think there's 6 locks in the East. And then the 8 seed is down to the Heat, the Magic, the Hawks, the Wizards. I'm still putting in that group because Bradley Beal's still on that team. If they get rid of Bradley Beal, then they're a lottery lock. The Pistons cannot be counted out for the 8 seed. So that's 5. And then the lottery locks in the East are the Knicks, the Bulls, the Hornets, and there's one more lottery lock. I'll think of it, unless if they're a team I think is in play for the 8 seed. I know there's people that think that the Knicks are in play for the 8 seed, but I'm not buying it at all. They signed a bunch of role guys, and they're still the Knicks. I don't see them making the playoffs at all. Well, I could see them maybe in the 30s if things broke right, but I think it'd be crazy if they made the playoffs. Like, I'd be absolutely dumbfounded if the New York Knicks made the playoffs. So again, playoff locks: Milwaukee, Toronto, Philly, Boston, Indiana, and Brooklyn. Lottery locks: New York, Chicago, Charlotte. In play for the last 2 spots: Miami, Atlanta, Orlando, Detroit, Washington. And there's one more team in the East that I'm blanking on. I need to think of who it is. Who is that mystery team I forgot about in the Eastern Conference? So I said the 6 playoff locks, the 3 lottery locks in the East. So that brings us down to 5. Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Washington, and Detroit. All right, I forgot about Orlando. So that's it. Actually, no, that was 5. We need one more. I thought I forgot about Orlando. Oh my goodness. Who am I missing? Detroit, Milwaukee, Indiana, Chicago, Now I'm going by division. Who else is in that division? Milwaukee, Chicago, Indiana, Detroit. I know the Atlantic Division. I know the Southeast Division. I'm thinking of the Central Division. There's a team I'm leaving out and I'm blanking on, and I'm an idiot for leaving them out. So I'm going to go cheat and find out who it is that I'm leaving out, whether they're a lottery lock or in play for the 8 seed. We'll see. I'm going to check right now. Who am I leaving out? Oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's a lottery lock. So there's 4 lottery locks in the East. Knicks, Cavs, Bulls, Hornets. Wizards join that group if they trade Bradley Beal. Just like the Thunder join the West lottery locks if they trade Russell Westbrook. So the 4 lottery locks, 5 teams in play for the last 2 playoff spots in the East, and then 6 playoff locks. So 6, 5, and 4 is 15. And on the other side of it, oh, by the way, the Clippers are actually the favorites to win the 2020 NBA title. The rightfully favorites, by the way. They're 5-2 favorites over the Lakers, Bucks, 76ers, and Warriors. So on the other side in the West, 7 playoff locks, 3 lottery locks, and 5 teams in play for the 8 seed. I'll probably update this again throughout the summer as there's going to be injuries, there's going to be more trades, and more unexpected free agent news and whatnot. So that's it for today. Back to my regular podcast on Monday. We'll talk more about this trade. We'll talk about the Wimbledon. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk World Cup. Hopefully the United States win. And then I'll have a best bet for you on Monday. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.